Welcome to the Vulnerable Room. Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Season 4, Episode 3 of the Vulnerable Room podcast. I am your lovely host, Darnie, and I am so happy to be back in this chair. I know it's been a while, but I have so much to catch you up on. As some of you may know, March is always madness because it's my birthday month. My birthday was on the 12th, so I just want to say thank you to everyone who sent me warm wishes because the love was felt. It was overwhelming, but in a great way. And the last two birthdays was a bit blah. I was in a sucky, space. But this birthday, I felt much lighter, just so thankful for life. I treated myself to get a massage. I started my day off going to the doctors for my physical, and then I went to go get a massage, and then I spent the rest of the afternoon with my lovely baby sister. She treated me to lunch, and then I spent the rest of the evening with my parents and my sister, just relaxing, just chilling. Then the weekend, I went to New York, and shout out to my friends, my good girlfriends. My bestie, she put together she picked a spot where to go and to just get out, have some good food and good drinks for my birthday. The spot she picked, you did that, bestie. And then after that, we went to another spot and it was just beautiful. I just want to shout out my girls, Bree, Menica, and Janice. Thank you guys so much for spending the evening with me. I'm weird. I will plan Sismas. I will sit here and plan for someone else's birthday. But when it comes to me, if it's too much, hang it up flat screen. I don't want to do it. I think it's a Pisces thing because when I put it on Instagram, I'm weird when it comes to stuff like that. So many Pisces told me I'm like that too for my birthday. Da 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 da. So yeah, if it requires too much work, count me out. I don't want to do it. So I just thank my village. Thank you guys so much for the, fellowshipping and sisterhood. Like we was able to get drunk, had a good time. Was able to be passenger princess. I love my friends. And on top of that too, I just made an Amazon gift list just because I was like, let me see who would actually send me something, but I didn't expect anything. I see this is like the thing now to do, like just to, maybe when people ask you, what are you doing for your birthday or what do you want? Instead of saying, oh, nothing, I have stuff in mind. I have so much stuff in my cart, lots of books. So I sent it to my friends and the love that I received, that was just so mind blowing. And I'm truly grateful, for real, for real. I got some books, I got some topical strips, I got a Stanley mug, I got some Dre beats. All right, y'all did y'all big one. I love my friends. Love y'all, love y'all down. So yeah, my birthday it was great. All right, so it's time for some book reviews. So I was only able to complete one book since the last time we spoke, and that book is entitled Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. This book was a delightful read with well-developed characters that kept me engaged throughout the whole book. The exploration of race and identity was handled thoughtfully, and I appreciated how the main character grew stronger in standing up for herself. The moments of personal growth and empowerment, it felt genuine and relatable, and the story was sweet, funny, and cute, and it really resonated with me. I could definitely see myself reading it again and absolutely would love to see more of the main character's journey, especially as she enters a new chapter in her life. So if I had to rate this book, I would say an 8 out of 10. And I definitely think that you should add it into your reading list if you're looking for a funny to read. Y'all already know what time it is, and it is time for Room for Advice. Guys, I am loving this segment. This allows me to really and truly connect with you beautiful listeners. And furthermore, I'm loving it. Like the tea, hello? Because I'm pretty sure the question that you're asking, someone else probably has too, but they may be too shy to ask. So again, with this segment, I have a link in my profile, and you can click on that link and simply leave a question, a shout out, or a topic like you want to just discuss briefly. So again, for advice is now live and direct. And now let's jump into this message.
Hey Dar, this is Munchie. The question that I have for you is, since you have been reading a lot, what book or books thus far has resonated with you and why? Bye.
Okay. Hey Munchie Boo. Thank you so much for your message. I'm gonna give two books. So two books that resonated with me so far is Cicely Tyson's novel. That book right there. I've always loved Cicely Tyson. I felt like she has made her mark in Hollywood. May she rest in peace. That book, it was just so much to unpack. And I feel like it simply highlights the struggles that Black women go through when trying to climb the success ladder. It also highlights the struggles that Black women face all the time when it comes to love and being with someone, going through the highs and the, I don't even want to say the highs, because in that story it was just a lot of lows with the guy she was married to. Although that's not the narrative that we want to portray when it comes to marriage and Black love, we don't want to suffer in love no more. And I just love that she gathered her strength and left him right where where he was at. He didn't want any, better for himself. So she just focused on her and did what she needed to do. So that's one book. Another book that truly resonates with me is Only for the Weak. And I simply say that because like I'm a lover girl. And that book, one of the main characters, his name is Rome. I feel like every woman deserves a Rome. Okay? You deserve someone that's going to go to bat for you. You deserve someone that's going to make you smile when you're going through a tough time. You deserve someone that's all into you. You deserve someone that just loves being in your presence and loves spending time with you. And reading the book, like I caught myself like, because I listened to the book, I caught myself smiling as I was listening to the audiobook because it was just such a beautiful love story. So those two books resonates with me, and I hope that if you guys are trying to get back into reading or are picking up reading currently as a hobby, I think that you guys should add that to your list. So I hope that answers your question, Munchie. Thank you. Today's topic is entitled Booked and Balanced. I have a special guest by the name of Kiana joining me today. She's a licensed mental health therapist, owner of Sincerely Your Mental Health PLLC, born and raised in the Boogie Down Bronx. So now she's a New Yorker, a current resident of the Sunshine State of Florida, where she is a licensed therapist and self-employed. She's an avid reader, traveler, and a carnival junkie. Today, we're diving into the connection between books and mental health and how reading can be more than just entertainment. It can actually be healing. To help me unpack this, I'm thrilled to have a special guest joining me, Kiana, a licensed therapist. Okay. Hey. Who knows a thing or two about healing both the mind and the heart. Kiana, welcome to the Vulnerable
Thank you
Room.
for
Hey,
having
girl.
me. Hey, girl. Thank
No
you.
problem. We was supposed to been do this. It's been a
I
long
know.
time coming, but
Literally
I'm
since
so
December.
glad.
Since December.
I know. But we here, March Madness, and I'm glad to have
Mhm.
you on my third episode. So, if books were therapists, what genre do you think would be the best advice?
Okay.
Self-help, fiction, fantasy, etc.
Gotcha. So first of all, therapists don't give advice, but if I had to say, it would be self-help only because that's the most obvious answer. Therapists, the
Okay.
whole point is to just work through the problem with you. So I don't give my clients advice as their therapist. There may be times when, I'm talking to somebody who I've like built a rapport with, and I'll say, listen, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm gonna tell you stop doing that, right? Like, but then it's always like replacement and stuff like that. So I would say self help and nonfiction because it's real
Okay.
life. But we therapists don't give advice.
Okay. Love that. Therapists don't give advice.
Don't give
Got it.
advice.
We listen and we don't judge.
That part for sure.
So, if someone's feeling anxious, would you recommend like a heartwarming romance, a motivational self help book, or maybe a mystery to distract them?
So it would really depend, but just reading in itself is a distraction, right? Like reading in itself is a
Mhm.
distraction. So I really wouldn't say self help because you have to also think about your capacity. Anytime you're doing something, especially learning something new or like a self help, you'd have to think about like, what is my capacity to learn or take in this new information? So I say for anxiety,
Mhm.
specifically for anxiety, I say like, romance, something soft, something a thriller might not do it because they're like this, right? They're like moving through, especially if it's a fast-paced book, so you want to be careful. But for anxiety, I would say something
Okay.
like soft and or even young adult books. Even some young adult books I've delved into some
Mhm.
recently and they were like I was like, okay. I mean, some of them were murder
Okay.
mysteries, but for the ones that weren't, I would say yes, yes. I think you just finished a young adult.
Okay.
What's it called? Excuse me while I ugly cry. That was YA.
Yes, oh my gosh, I just finished that and actually I just rated, I gave a review, like a brief
Yeah.
review. So that book I felt like was very good for anyone who's dealing with anxiety, like coming into your own,
Hmm.
dealing with peer pressure,
Hmm.
things of that nature. That
Yeah.
is a good book. I'm
It's a
glad
good
you
book.
mentioned that.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
See, something soft, nothing too crazy that'll have you like wondering who's coming around the corner, what's happening. That is not really good for your anxiety. And I'm gonna
No
tell you,
Frida
I
McFadden. No
no,
Frida.
no Frida for sure. No Frida because she's gonna have you going. I just read or I finished earlier this
Mhm.
month with my book club, The Measure, and that book is about everybody in the world receives a box in front of their door, and inside of their box is a string. That string is to measure how much life you have left. So I would not recommend that book
Okay.
to somebody dealing with anxiety because it gave me anxiety, right? Like I was like, okay, this is crazy, but it was a good book
Okay.
though. But just like that's why I say not thriller books, but something just a little
The
bit softer.
Measure.
Hmm.
Okay. I remember you had mentioned that book to me when we were talking.
Hmm.
Definitely added it to my book list because, yeah, if I
It's
need
good.
something very upbeat, very like
Yeah,
have me on the edge of my seat, I'm going to read that.
absolutely.
So, my next question to you is, do you think books are like comfort food for the mind? And if so, what's your mac and cheese book?
Books definitely are comfort food for the mind, but and when I'm just going to say when I'm talking about books, I'm talking about like fiction. Talking about novels that are
Okay.
like about like stories, not because I think it's always funny when I'm like, "Oh, I love books." And people are like, "Yeah, this self-help." No. We are being transported
No,
into different worlds. Like we're not not that I can't read
I'm
a
not.
self-help book or whatever, but I want to go somewhere else.
Yeah, we want to escape the real world. We're not trying to. Yes, we all for working on ourselves. Right now, we ain't trying to do that. We need a break. We trying
Exactly.
to live somebody else's life for right
No,
now.
literally. And it literally takes you there. So it takes you outside of yourself. Even if you are reading books that
Mhm.
are about whatever it is you're going through, it's still outside of yourself. But definitely,
Okay.
so my mac and cheese book is, I have not stopped talking about this book. I think you can probably guess it's Ona Out of Order.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, really quickly, guys. So last year, this was one of my first books. I would say one of my first maybe 5 books that I've read last year.
Hmm.
And because of you, Kiana, I was like, I would never, if I saw this in Barnes and Nobles or in the library, I would
Hmm.
never pick this book up. But because of her reviews, I had to read the book. And I'm so glad that I did because
So good.
that book was everything. But go ahead. Sorry.
It was what like it that book. So it's a time travel book. So just a quick synopsis.
Hmm.
It's about Ona. We meet Ona, and she's going into her 19th birthday. So her birthday is New Year's Eve. Oh no, her birthday is January 1st. So she's celebrating
Yes.
New Year's Eve in 19, what is it, like 82 or 3?
Like
So she's
80s, in the 80s.
yeah. So so when the clock strikes midnight, she wakes up as a 50 something year old woman. And from then
Child.
on, which is just crazy, like from then on, he is every year she jumps and she's out of order, right? So like she goes from not like 18 to like 52, then she goes back to 20 something. And then I know one year she's like in her late 30s. So let's say like she's 36, and then no, let's say she's 37,
Hmm.
and then in the year that she jumps to next she's 36. So she jumps like a year before. That was crazy. So that book is just
Very good, guys. Like you have to add that to your list. You don't want
oh,
to
for
say
real.
too much, but that
Yeah.
that book was. I was like, okay, now I remember why I like to read. That book was. I'm
Yes.
glad you suggested that.
Yes.
So let's dive into personal experiences and book recommendations.
Hmm.
So I know we've all had this book saved my life type of moment. What sparked your interest in reading and why?
Yeah. So I have been reading for pretty much as long as I can remember. My love of reading started with Junie B. Jones. I don't know if you know Junie B.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes, I
and the
do.
B
Of
stands for
course.
Beatrix, okay? Like
Okay.
Judy B. Jones was like, and I remember vividly like reading her books because so I have a younger brother, but he's 3 years younger than me. So I don't really remember like being an only child. I
Okay.
remember when Junie got a brother, and I remember being like she, because then you if you read Junie B. Jones, she's just like, and he's annoying, and I don't like that, and she just is stomping around, being a kid, and I remember like relating to her, like as I mean, I'm talking about maybe I was like 6 or 7, or maybe even up to like age 9. But I will say I never enjoyed reading books assigned to me. It was everything else outside of like book reports for school and all that kind of stuff. So I never could get into it. But my love of
Okay.
reading started there, and then when I was in high school, it just took off from there. Like my aunt had introduced me to this author named Kimberly Lawson Roby, one of my, and I actually got to meet her. I got to meet her. But
That's
her,
awesome.
what book was it? Actually, it's sitting right here. Look at that. Casting the First Stone. This is what solidified
Okay.
reading for me. It's about Curtis Black. Curtis Black, he's a pastor of a church and he's sleeping with everybody in the church. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, yeah, let me add that. I like
That's
stuff
all
like
I'm gonna
that. It's
say.
giving Greenleaf. Okay, it's giving Greenleaf.
That book is one of like 15. The series is long. Like it's a very long series, and then
15?
it's 15 books, and it goes into his daughter who we meet in this book and his son who wasn't even born in the first book yet.
Okay.
So it goes,
Okay.
listen, it covered, when I tell you it covers everything, like Curtis is messy, child. Pastor Curtis is messy. Very messy.
Say Pastor Curtis, please.
If you listen, so that, and then from
How many?
there, I really just became a thriller girly, which I have another point to make, which I'll
Mm.
make later. But David Baldacci is my favorite thriller author, or he's one of just my favorites. I got to meet him last year, so I'll be following the people
That's so
around.
cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to meet
Okay.
him. Yeah,
That's
so
what's up. I would love to meet Frida McFadden and
yeah,
Kennedy Ryan.
Kennedy
I would
Ryan,
love to meet Kennedy Ryan.
they do. I know Kennedy does tours. So that's how I ended up
Yeah.
meeting David. You just got to watch their tours and stuff. So,
I follow her on Instagram. So
yeah.
now that I'm into her books, because I got into her books last year,
Hmm.
I'm waiting for that new book to drop in May. And if she has a tour, I'm going to
You're
find
going you're going to
her. Yeah,
find her.
bye.
Exactly. Exactly.
I need the
It's so cool
autograph.
meeting.
Me.
Exactly. It's so cool meeting the author. Like, and then for Kimberly, I met her when I was in college. I didn't have no car, no
Wow.
license, but I found my way to the mall in Virginia Beach. What is it, Military Mall or whatever, wherever. I found my way
I
there,
know exactly where
and
that's at.
I believe two of my friends took me because I remember taking pictures with them. But now years later that I'm on like Bookstagram,
Okay.
I DM'd her and she follows me. Like, I think that's so cool. And I showed her the
Wow.
pictures. I was like, girl, we know each other. Like, we know each other.
That's really
So
personable. I can
yeah,
only
no,
imagine.
they are very personable. I love it.
So, what's one book that like completely shifted your perspective on life or mental health?
One book.
Hmm.
One. Okay,
You be
so
reading.
I know, I do, which is why I had to go in my mind. This is what I'll say. I not
Okay.
necessarily on mental health, but just a perspective period is being on Bookstagram, because like I said, that's the point I wanted to make, so we went right into it, right? So
Okay.
I, like I said, I was a thriller girl. Like I would only read thriller books, and then when I got on Bookstagram, because I took a quite a long break from reading, because I was trying to get my life together. I was moving, I was taking my licensing exam and doing all these things and finishing school. So once I finished, I really got back into reading, went right back to thrillers. But when I got on Bookstagram, I would see like people just reading anything, like anything. So I
Hmm.
started to like take recommendations, and I would be reading these books and I'm like, this is boring. Oh my God. Like, is this what book? And I remember when I really got into audiobooks, I was listening to a story and I was like, this was, I remember specifically, I was putting up my Christmas tree, and it was really like background noise, but I found myself like going into the, like, just following along with the characters. That book, by the way, is Pineapple Street
Okay.
by Brenda. I can't remember her last name, but that was a pretty good book. But that's what shifted my perspective, that everything doesn't have to be, Michael Myers chasing you down the hall, you trying to figure out who did it, when, where, what. Books are supposed to be, and it also made me realize like I was really critical on some other books, because I'm like, oh my God, this is so boring. But
Okay.
books are supposed to take you somewhere else. It's supposed to make
Right.
you feel like you're on an adventure, and you don't even
Hmm.
have to go nowhere. You're on an adventure. So that's really the perspective shift that I had, which got me even more into reading, which is how I ended up with Ona and other books that I, like you said, I would have never picked that up. I would go to the thriller section and that would be it.
Right.
So more of a perspective shift that way. I can't say one book. Actually, I
Okay.
can. Actually, I can. No, let me not say that. I have one possible, but I only got halfway through
Okay.
it because it was too sad. But it's The Silent
Mhm.
Library by Matt Hinge, something like that.
Okay. I have that on my list, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, it's right here. Yeah, Matt Haig. It's not The Silent Library, it's The Midnight Library. It's back here. But The
Okay. So,
Midnight
okay.
Library. So that book is about a girl who unalives herself. I don't know if we could say, I don't know if it's as sensitive as other platforms, but
No,
she unalives
you're
herself.
fine.
Yeah, and it was similar. It was recommended to me when somebody heard me talking about Ona, because she goes to like
Mm.
different parts of her life. But it was too sad. It was too sad for me. I was trying to read it on vacation. I'm like, nope, I can't do
It's
this right
just too
now.
sad.
It was too sad, like,
Okay.
because we know that the character is going to, that she's having these thoughts. So, but the author just makes it like very, very clear. And I mean, right away, like, she loses her job, she loses a friend, she loses everything. So it's creating a space of hopelessness right out the gate. So we already know where that's going. But I feel like that book could shift my perspective. Not even shift my perspective, but just give me another one. But I didn't finish it. So I can't answer it 100%. But I could circle back later whenever I finish it.
And I meant to say, when you said Silent Library, that's not the book I'm thinking of. The book that I started, but I just couldn't get into it was The Silent Patient.
What? You hold on. You couldn't get into The Silent Patient?
I think it's because it's the audio book, and we're going to talk about that too. But I
Okay.
have to, that's probably a book I have to hold in my hand and
Yes.
actually read, because sometimes when you have an audio book and the voice is just annoying, it's like,
Yes.
baby, done. Forget it.
Get the hard copy.
That's a
It's
book
that
I
one.
was recommended by Book Talk. Book Talk, Book
Yes.
TikTok. That was a book I came across and I added it to
Hmm.
my list. And when I finally like was able, because I use Libby, so when I
Hmm.
finally was able to read it, then I'm like, I don't know. I don't like this.
Got you. Got you. No, it's good. It's good. I would say circle back on that one. Circle back on
No,
that
I
one.
am. I plan on doing so.
Hmm.
So if you could prescribe one book to someone going through a tough time, what would it be and why?
So that would depend. That would depend. Because when I think of like, okay, if we just say like overall a rough time, I would say romance. I kind of mentioned that earlier. And specifically,
Yes.
just like some feel good books, Christina C. Jones, she has like, and I've talked about this on my book page quite a bit, but she has The Love Sisters and The Wright Brothers. It's 3 books each, and they're short. They're very short. I want to say they're really not even more than 150 pages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they're
Probably
really
finish that in
short.
a day or
So
two.
it's just soft and just gives you the feels. It's so good. It's so good. But at the same time, if you are, and side note, the brothers and the sisters, they're cousins. And if you care
Oh,
to read it
okay.
in order, because I read the Love Sisters first, and they had these like cousins that were in the book, but the brothers, their stories are first. But it doesn't really matter which order you
Okay.
read each series in. It matters which, it's 3 books each. That one matters. But if somebody is having a hard time in the romance department, right, you're not gonna, actually, I'm not gonna say that, because what I wanted to say was you're not gonna want to read about romance, but it may be helpful depending on where you are, right? Because then it's introducing a different
Yeah.
possibility to your mind versus whatever you're going through, right? It shows like there's a different outcome possible versus what I'm going through. May not be with the person I'm going through it with. That's
Right.
something totally different. That's totally different. But just to say,
That's the
like, it
one and
is
not the two.
okay. I'm just saying it might not be with that person. I'm not saying that now. Don't listen to this and be like, oh, she said no. I said a different possibility. Possibility all the way around. Or that's when I would say a thriller. Like something to just get you thinking of something else. Nothing too
Okay.
heavy, right? Because thrillers I feel can either be heavy or like mysteries is really what I want to say. I feel like they could be heavy or they could just keep you interested
Yeah,
to
they could
keep
keep
you
you like your
distracted.
mind going. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's what I would say.
Okay. So let's shift gears. Let's
Mhm.
move into the next segment, how to use reading as a tool for healing.
Mhm.
So let's give the listeners some like actual tools that they can use. So
Yeah.
if someone's struggling with anxiety or stress, how can they intentionally use reading to calm their mind?
Reading itself is the tool, right? Like reading itself
Ooh.
is the tool. So if like reading helps with like improved concentration, it helps with literally like the way that your brain is connecting to itself, right? Just being a little bit more conscious. And I think I said memory and cognitive functioning. So those are the things
Okay.
that like that helps you within itself. So it's literally just the act of doing it and figuring out, because I
Mm.
know a lot of times, especially if we've all gone to school, even it doesn't matter where we stopped in school, reading is a part of that. Especially if you go to grad
Yes.
school, that's all you're gonna do is read.
All you're
So
doing.
that's
That
all
is
you're
all
gonna
you're
do.
doing.
That is, and that's why my break was what it was, because my program took me double the time. It took me 4 years, so I took a longer time to get back into reading.
Okay.
So yes, if you are in grad school and you're listening, when you're finished, look for what you like. That's what I would say to anybody, right? Because even like I have a friend
Okay.
who, because I have a book club, and she was like, this feels like school, because I ask questions like every Sunday and assign like what pages to catch up to so that we could all be on the same page. And it can, but it's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be fun. So I
Right.
would say like just the act itself is helpful because your brain, right? Your brain exists in one period at a time, one time period at a time. So anxiety a lot of time is caused by thinking of or trying to exist in different time periods. So I'm here right now and I'm thinking about what I got to do in 20 minutes, an hour from now, tomorrow, on Monday. And oh, wait, what did I do on Friday? And then
Yes.
what happened 3 years ago? And your brain says, you know what? Here's some adrenaline for you because I don't know what's going on. And that's not really helpful. Like now my heart is racing, I'm sweating, having all of these different, symptoms, and I don't know why, but that's because the brain is recognizing you jumping from time period to time period as a threat. So it's great, which is what I tell every single one of my clients. Adrenaline, all that stuff is great if you're running from a bear, if you're in a fight, if you're doing something it's not helpful when I'm sitting in my house. It's not helpful. So when
Yeah.
you pick up a book or listen to one, you center yourself and you're in the present but in a different time period, but not in the same way that causes the anxiety. So that's why the act itself is helpful.
I love that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love like fiction. Because like you could be here in 2025, but the book setting, the time period is like in the
Yes.
1800s. You're like, oh dang, now it's giving 12 years of a slave. Right. All right.
Okay.
Let's see what this is giving. Let's see what this story is hitting for. So
Yeah.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
So we was just briefly talking about this.
hmm
Audiobooks or physical books? Which one do you think is better for mental health and why?
So I feel like my answers are all the same because it depends. It depends. I think that, okay, so audiobooks give you the space to do something else with your hands, right? So sometimes,
Mhm.
and we have to be realistic. I know there's a lot of, like, I've done trainings or even, growing up in like Caribbean culture, right? Everything is keep still for kids. Sit still. Don't do
Yes.
this. Don't do that. And that's not really realistic because even when you're still, you're moving, your heart is pumping, blood is flowing through you. There's something happening. I've had people ask me like, well, I tap my foot, do this. How do I, stop that? And I'm like, well, is it self-soothing? Because that's what we have
Mhm.
to measure versus like just keep still. Like thought pattern. For audiobooks, like for me, I will listen and it frees me to do something with my hands. So I'll either color, crochet, do my Legos, or just, I'm not recommending scrolling Instagram because you're going to get lost. You're not going to be able to focus.
You are,
Right. So yeah,
yeah.
right. You're doing something where you're listening and you're not just sitting there, or you are just sitting there, right? Like if that works, that works. So that's one way. But for physical reading, I think it might help a little bit more because you have to hold the book. You have to hold it and you have to read and you have to flip the pages. So it gives you that a little bit more being in the present. So it depends. If you're a person who could like watch TV and look at your phone at the same time, then maybe audiobooks and, doing something else like coloring or whatever that would work if that helps you better. But I can't, it just would depend on what works for the individual.
So for me, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
With like audiobooks is like that you're able to multitask.
Yes.
For me personally, because sometimes it's just too much going on in the workspace, I will put my AirPods in and I will turn on my book and I will get the type in and just zone out and do my
Yeah.
work. So that's the main reason why I got into audiobooks.
Okay.
And I won't lie, I do feel like if I like the character's voice, well the narrator's voice,
Yes.
I'm addicted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even some books will have me like when I'm listening to it, I feel like I'm listening to a podcast. I'm like, girl, what? He did Like I
Yes.
found myself I be
Yes.
telling myself, I'm like, oh, it's just a book. Like, but it's if it's
Yeah.
really good, you really will be into it. But
Yes.
physical books, I would say I started reading more physical books this
Mhm.
year and
Yeah.
I love the way books smell. I
Yes.
like
Yes,
I like
ma'am.
holding it. I like holding it. I like seeing how beautiful the cover is, like the cover
That's
art.
what gets me. That's what gets me. Like literally my motto for books is I judge them by their cover. If it's cute, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not really.
Yeah. Like it can be the most boringest book, but I'm gonna buy it because it may look good on my shelf.
Yes, yeah. It's so cute. Like, and let's like we're aesthetic people. Like this, our generation
Yeah.
is aesthetic. So I mean, come on. So yeah, but I agree. And you know what else too? Audiobook and driving. So
Yeah, girl.
yeah, audiobook and driving is like, I'm gonna tell you, I never thought I would be able to listen to an audiobook and drive because when I'm
Me
driving, it's
too.
soca music. It's soca music. Period. That's it. That's all I listen to. But
I'm in the studio when I'm driving, but
okay, like this is a closed session, like on my solo. But yeah, definitely reading. Like what was it? Me and my mom drove to Maryland, not last year, but the year before, and she wasn't into it. She put her AirPods on, but I was listening to a mystery, one of David Baldacci's books, one of his series, and that carried me for a while. And that was from Florida to
Mhm.
Maryland, so that's 13 hours. So yeah.
And you finished the whole book.
I didn't finish the whole thing. Like I mixed it up, but it carried me for a while. Like
Okay.
maybe at least 2 hours of that drive because then you got to mix it up. But
Yeah.
yeah, driving is especially if I'm into it. Oh yeah, phone is getting hooked up to that Bluetooth. So yeah.
No, I agree. I'm the same way. Like I thought I never would be the person to drive and listen to a book, but if I'm really into it and I need to know what happens next, yeah,
Yes.
that's getting played on the ride to work, from work, in the shower,
Until I
when
finish.
I'm in bed. I
All
love
day.
that. See,
Yeah.
one thing technology is good for, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So, what's the most underrated mental health benefit of reading that people might not think about?
Increasing concentration, increasing
Hmm.
your ability to concentrate. So, like I said, like you were just saying, even though I'm multitasking, I'm driving, I'm working, or whatever, I'm concentrating on this one thing. We are a generation of 30-second videos. Like we had Vine, we had even Instagram before that, Snapchat when it was only 10 seconds long.
Oh my
You know what I
gosh.
mean? We
Throwback.
are, it's literally like I go through that period of like what is it, 2015 to like 2017 or whatever on my phone, like all my Snapchats that are saved, and I have 110-second clips. Like it's so annoying. But it's for, just for you to hurry up and get the laugh or get the joke or whatever the case. And even TikTok, you could scroll forever on
Yeah.
TikTok. So
Love
we're
a
in
TikTok.
that, and just we're in an instant gratification world. Think about it. You something ships,
Yeah.
Amazon has spoiled us. We're waiting for it for sometimes the same day, but that's not real life. That's not really realistic. A lot of times you have to wait.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and that can also cause anxiety when you're having to wait for things, when you're so used to getting everything so instantly. So, but reading along with like I said, just like increased brain connectivity and things like that, it helps you concentrate. Especially for the
Okay.
girlies that read them. My longest is like maybe 400, but the girlies are reading 700 and 500-page books. I'm not
700
there yet.
what?
I'm not there yet, but yeah.
What books are, yeah. Yeah,
Girl,
what's
who
that?
was it? If I'm not mistaken, I want to say Barack Obama's memoir was 700 pages. Like, and I wanted to
No,
buy
it's
it
given
just
an
to
encyclopedia.
it's
It's
encyclopedia. I
given
know.
encyclopedia.
I
I ain't reading
know.
it. I would get it, like you said, just to put it on the shelf. No, Barack Obama, you're doing too much. Sorry.
Love you, but 700. But there's a
Please.
series. I think that the Onyx series, that what is it? Fourth Wing is like 400 plus pages. Yeah.
I didn't even know about this. I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah. Yeah. There
They
there
can have
is a
that.
book that I have on my, and so I said I'm gonna try. There's a book that I have. It's, if I'm not mistaken, it's The History of Seven Killings. It's a book that it takes place in Jamaica, and it's 24 hours is the audio time. So we'll see. We'll see if I get through that.
Okay. I don't
We'll
think that's
see.
bad. I don't think that's
24,
bad, to be honest,
but it's like
because,
double what
like,
I'm used to. I'm used to like 12, maybe
mm,
12 the longest, maybe like 8, 9 hours.
okay.
And then, when you get into it, if you speed up the audio, it's less time. So
I always
24
speed it
hours.
up. 1.5.
Yes,
Yeah, please.
exactly.
I don't need to hear all the deep breathing, the
I
song.
know.
I don't
Oh
need
my
it.
Lord.
Let's go. Let's go. So now let's talk about mental health and book themes.
Mm
So, if mental health struggles were a book genre,
hmm. Mm
would
hmm.
they be more of a mystery, a drama, or a coming of age story?
Drama. Immediately drama.
Okay, why are you saying drama?
Because anxiety is dramatic. Anxiety
It
is
is.
dramatic, not the individual, but the whole situation, right? Like, how
Yeah.
many times have we just in general like struggled with thinking of something I have to do, something I'm nervous about? Anxiety has got me stressed, sweating, stomach messed up, thoughts all over the place. I get the thing
Yeah.
done, I get whatever it is done, and I do it well. And now I'm looking at anxiety like, girl, why you do that for? That was not necessary. Like, especially when I have the evidence, right? Evidence is things that have actually happened, not what I feel, not what I think, because feelings are
Mhm.
fleeting, thoughts change. What has actually happened to
Come on,
lead up to it?
therapist.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like,
Mhm.
what has actually happened? Like, okay, for example, I'm gonna tell you, when I took my licensing exam, right? I studied, when I
Okay.
tell you I was studying twice a day. So I was waking up like a little bit earlier, studying, like doing a test, like a practice test, seeing clients from, let's say, 10 to like 6, and then taking another test. I did that for like 3 months. When the test was approaching, why would I Google the pass rate in Florida? And it was 50%. And that freaked me out. That freaked me out. I psyched myself out. I'm looking at the pass rate when I have all this evidence of me studying and scoring
Passing.
higher, passing the test, doing all this stuff. And when I did the test took me an hour. This is the old version. I took the test 2 years ago. So they've changed it since then. But the test, they give
I
you
hate when
three
they do that.
hours. Yeah, no, so annoying.
Okay.
Actually, for that test, which is a whole other subject, it might be better for the people taking it now. But I wanted to take it before
Okay.
it changed because that's how I studied for it. I studied for the old version. But I took the test. They give you 3 hours. I did it in one. I left out and I passed.
Okay.
And I passed. And when I sat
Okay.
there, I'm like, I'm telling you, I was crying. I was like upset. I'm like, oh my God, what? I cried the whole way to the test. Me driving, I cried on the way. Like, I just could not, like, my nerves were on 1,000. And I'm just like, why you do that for? You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
what, like, anxiety is a liar. It lies to you. It's dramatic. It's telling you all these things when I have the proof of me studying twice a day for 3 months. Come on.
Mm.
The evidence, that's the evidence. The evidence is what I did. So that's why I
You're
say
totally
anxiety is
right.
drama.
It does give drama.
It's
I
drama.
know I like when I have my when my anxiety is high,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh. I am so
No.
irritable. Like
Yes.
I'm crying about everything. Like, and don't let my cycle be coming too. World War
Because
Five,
no, for
please.
real. Because you don't have the capacity to deal. So that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It takes up the space, but that's why just coping skills in general, like reading, help you just increase your capacity because
Mhm.
anxiety happens to all of us. Like, so I gave the example for myself. Like, it happens to all of us, but it's how you manage it and it's to what level it gets to. So if you don't practice things that increase your capacity, or forget that, if you're not even aware of your capacity,
Yeah.
anxiety is gonna
That's the
be
one.
in the driver's seat taking over. Like, that looks like when I wake up in the morning, like, how do I feel? How do I feel? I
Hmm.
can't tell you how many people I talk to and I ask them their first thoughts when they wake up in the morning and they're elsewhere. They're on the job. I'm, at the airport. I'm at the next place I have to be. No, you have to be where your feet are, which is why reading is helpful because it keeps you stationary, right? Like when you're reading a book. But yeah, if you don't have the capacity, absolutely you're just gonna be a mess and dramatic, right?
A hot
Not
mess.
that your feelings are not valid, they are valid, but the whole situation is dramatic. Anxiety is
It is.
she's
It's
very
not
much
fun.
dramatic. It's not. It's not.
We love when the drama is not involving us.
Yes,
But
which is exactly why reading is
we can sit
it.
here. We can sit here and read a drama, but when it comes to real life,
Yeah.
drama is not my favorite genre. Not at
No.
all.
Not at all. Not at
Give me
all.
romance.
Yes. Yeah. Give me mystery, something.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what's one mental health topic you wish more books would explore?
So I can't really say because there's millions of books about mental health. What I will say is if you are dealing with something, at least the way I do things with my clients, like if they're journaling, reading, especially if they're doing like there's like shadow journals and stuff where they like prompt you and ask questions. I encourage my clients to
Okay.
talk about it, which I think when you're doing things like that, you should actually be under the supervision of a therapist. That's a whole other story. But for if you are reading books and stuff, find a therapist that you could talk to about what you're reading, like whatever concepts and stuff. That's what I
Okay.
encourage my clients to do. I don't know. You got to see if your therapist is cool with it, but I would be. I would be because like I have clients that hey, I'm reading this book. Have you heard of it? Should I read it? That just give like whether it's like stuff about boundaries, affirmations, what could be helpful, or just like the psychoeducation of the mental health issue that they're dealing with. So I can't say one for sure, but I will say talking to a therapist about it while you're reading it could be helpful.
Coming from a therapist, guys.
Coming from a therapist, I'm just saying, don't listen. Finding a book to read sometimes, like I said, there's millions of books, is like kind of like Googling something. Like it's somebody writing from their either
Yeah.
experience, their clinical understanding or whatever, and sometimes it doesn't always apply to you. So that's why I don't have one book. I just say like be able to talk with somebody about it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Here for the conversations. As long as you're
Yeah.
talking, that's all
Hmm.
that matters.
Yeah.
Because it's needed. After
Yeah.
COVID, we need to talk.
Man, like even more so than before, yeah, especially,
Absolutely.
yep.
And I was one that was very like adamant during that time during COVID. That's when I started tapping into therapy, like towards the
Okay.
end of 2020 in
Mm-hmm.
November. I was always the type, because growing up in a Caribbean household, FYI, guys, this is my Virgin Island sister right here, okay? But,
Period.
anyways, growing up in a Caribbean household, it's taboo to go to a therapist.
Yes.
It's like shamed upon. Like,
Yes.
is made to seem like you have a problem, like you crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I realized after going through COVID and seeing the death tolls every day to the point
Every
I had
day.
to take off Apple News, like I had to delete that off of my phone,
Mm-hmm.
taking off the Citizens app, finding out like what's going on in the neighborhood by
Yeah.
me, like how many people got COVID. Too much, too
It's too
much.
much.
I was very overstimulated
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like, no, I need to talk to someone. And plus, I was going through a breakup too at that
Yeah.
point. So I'm like, no, I'm about to explode. And then Chadwick
Yeah.
died. I need to talk to somebody. Like,
Lord, that was
the
so.
Black
I
Panther
just
died. I got to talk to somebody.
no. We gotta
Please.
do it. And listen, it's the thing. That's why I say you got to be aware of your capacity. So you
Yeah.
were aware of your capacity when you removed the apps and stuff. But then, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that time was unprecedented. We listen, and I was during that time. I was starting the therapy, like becoming a therapist, because before
Mm.
I moved to Florida, I worked in child welfare, and I was going to school at the same time to do this work. And I started. What was it? November 2019. So from November 2019 to March 2020, I was in person with people, but we switched, or was it April? Because I'm in Florida. Florida was real delayed with all that. It was April that we switched.
Y'all are its own country. Y'all wasn't even locked down like how we were in
Listen,
New York.
I mean, I was
Okay.
personally locked down. My county was personally locked down for a little bit, but the rest of Florida was outside. Um, but coming, like getting new clients, like doing it virtually while you are also losing your mind was crazy. That was crazy because people, it was crazy. Like there was a time where I really had to like even just walk outside, like step outside and get some fresh air because
Yeah. Yes.
you're surrounded with all this noise and all of these things, and that's a lot. It's a lot. So
And if you was like locked down with somebody, you probably like, dang, this person getting on my nerves. I gotta take a walk before
listen,
I strangle them. Like it's
before I
too
strangle them,
much.
literally,
Too much. And
literally.
this around this time 5 years ago, yeah, that's when we
5 years
entered
ago. Yep.
the pandemic.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy. This around this time is
Wow.
when, especially down here, when because I
Woo.
used to work with kids. I don't work with kids anymore, but they were going on spring break and they thought they were going to be out for 2 weeks. They went on spring break and never went back until like September. So yeah, insane.
That's sad.
It
Oh,
is.
imagine going home and saying, bye friend, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And then
Yeah.
yeah.
See you in
Crazy
September.
times,
So
man. But I'm
crazy
happy we are
times.
finally we here. We alive
Yeah,
and
we
well. We
here.
just have to thank God because back then
Amen. Amen.
I
It
had to
was
find
time.
I think I tapped into reading too. I
Yeah.
tapped into reading back around that time too as well. I started to slowly get
Hmm.
back into it. And I was just like, wow, okay. I remember what reading felt like.
Yes.
This is cool.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
escape.
Literally, and we needed it.
But this has been such a great conversation, Kiana. I feel
Yes.
like I could talk about books forever and
Forever.
mental health. But before we wrap up, let's
Mhm.
give the listeners some like quick takeaways. Like what's one gem you would leave the listeners with?
About reading or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay, in general, my gem is your self esteem. Your self esteem is so important. It's from, in general, like people don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. So if I am not sure of myself, if I'm doubting myself, that's how I'm going to function in life. And, but other people can see me and think, like, oh, wow, she's great, she's talented, she's this, she's that. But if I don't believe it, that's not what's going to come from me. So
Absolutely.
we don't see things as they are, we see them how we feel, whatever it is we're going through that day. And if your self-esteem is low, that's what it's going to look like.
That's
Do
a
things
word.
to improve your self-esteem. Also looks like doing things you enjoy, which could be reading. If you're an avid reader, keep it up. If you're getting into reading, get into it. Also boundaries, but self-esteem first, because self-esteem will teach you how to set your own boundaries, and then I'll teach you how to
Everything
enforce
will
it to other
follow.
people. Exactly.
I kind of want to piggyback off of the self esteem thing because
Mhm.
I'm reading this book entitled Why Men Love Itches. Have you
Okay.
ever read that book
I
before?
haven't read it, but I heard of it.
Okay. So I was recommended to read this book by a friend. And I will say that they talked about your confidence and your self
Mm,
esteem. Like men can sense that.
yeah.
And I'm glad it's kind of like a full circle moment. It's just crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm confident. But in certain, when it comes to dating, for example, I'm a little, I don't want to say insecure, but I'm just like, I second guess myself a
Okay.
lot. Not as much as I used to, but I'm in a way better space.
Yeah.
And I would say that with the guy that I'm dating right now, I don't show that. I don't really show that.
Mm,
But I go
yeah.
to my friends, I go to my therapist, and I let it all hang out. I let it all hang out. And I say
Mm,
that to say like your self-esteem is really like the driving force for everything in all aspects of
everything.
life, whether it's dating, work. Work, they can sense it too. They can
Yeah.
definitely sense it at work. So yeah, work, dating, your personal life,
Yeah.
like you know, I just feel like self esteem, yes, should be that driving force because
Yeah.
everything would follow suit
Everything
afterwards. So I
flows
love that.
from it. Everything flows from it. Everything. And you're also able, in talking about dating, able to see it in other people, whether it's men or women. Like,
Yeah,
it's very easy when
that
you're
is true.
sure of yourself. And being sure of yourself is not cocky, is not prideful, especially if you know what you're rooted in,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you know, like, my faith is important to me. So I know everything that I have and everything that is about me comes from God. So that's why I'm sure. So I mean, it's really not up for debate.
Okay.
So it's really not, I mean, like, what is there to talk about? Like, that's it, right? So then that's how the rest of my life is, and that reflects in the rest of my life. So, but if you're not sure,
I
and
love
then
that.
and then I'm able to see, if I was dating, which I'm not, men that are insecure.
Soon, we're going to put that into the atmosphere.
Child, we
Soon.
gonna see, child. We gonna see. We
Because
gonna see. We gonna see. I haven't given up, obviously, but I'm also not really trying that hard. But we'll see.
and that's when it comes, when you least expect it. But
This is true.
yeah,
This is true. But yeah, confidence is key. Literally, it's literally the key to life. So
love that.
yeah.
And finally, because I have to ask, if you
Hmm.
could read one book for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Oh my goodness. So that's not a fair question. I'm gonna answer it, but it's not a
Because
fair
I'm
question.
pretty sure you probably have a few favorites, but if you
I
have to
have.
pick one.
Oh my gosh, there's so many like that I could just talk about forever. But okay, I will say, if I had to pick one book, it would be it's called King and Maxwell by David Baldacci. So it's the fifth book, if I'm not mistaken, the fourth or fifth book
Okay.
to his King and Maxwell series. It's the last book, and
Okay.
that series, that's the series. I just love it. But the series is about two ex Secret Service agents, and I'm like getting excited talking about it all over again. But it's about two ex Secret Service agents that, like,
Okay.
they're just the best. They're the best. There's like these different mysteries and things that they just have to like figure out. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the books, and I might be getting this mistaken with another one of his series, but they are protecting one of the presidents, like, at the time. And yeah,
It's
it's
given
just,
Paradise.
it's good. It's good. I haven't started
You seen
watching it, but I want
Paradise?
to. I haven't started yet, but I want to. I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's giving.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. And then King and Maxwell, the two of them start their own private, what is it, private investigator. They start their own private investigation firm. So people come to them, like, looking for people and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, that the last one. The last one also had a show. It had a TV show. I feel like I might have been the only person who watched it. But yeah, it was so good. It was only one season, but it was really
What's
good.
the
And
name of it?
it was called King and Maxwell. I think it was on TBS.
Oh.
This had to be like, this was like 2012 or 11. But this
Yeah.
was this
I
was a
probably wouldn't
long
have
time.
known only because, yeah, I wasn't reading books like that back then.
Yeah, it
So
was
I
it
probably
was
wouldn't
no, it
know.
wasn't 20. It maybe like 2013 or 14. 2013 or
Yeah.
14. Yeah, it was like around that time. But it only had one season, but in the show they had, like, some of the episodes were about some of the books. So when I was watching it, I
Okay.
was losing it cuz I'm like, that's that book. That's what happened in the book. Like, it was so good. But it only had one season. And when I met David, when I met the author, I asked him, is this like, are you done with this series? And he told me, he said, never say never. And I said, and heard you, and heard you. And he said that he got the rights to the show from Amazon or for Amazon or whatever. So
Okay.
I'm gonna keep holding my breath for that.
Cross his fingers.
Yes, yes,
I'm gonna get
yes.
that name of those books
Yeah.
after we wrap this
This,
up. But
yes.
Kiana, thank you so much for being here and sharing all of this wisdom
Of
and
course.
some of these book recommendations. I feel like my book list just got longer.
Yes, ma'am.
But can you tell the listeners where they can reach you?
Oh boy, it depends on where you depends on
Child, she
what
got a
you got.
lot.
I got a couple. So for my Instagram is you can see it up here, Key Beba, but it's Key underscore Beba. And then for my book page is Beba's Bookshelf. So it's BAYBUH dot bookshelf, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Because I be getting it mixed up with the dot and the underscore. But if you go to my Instagram, all of the pages, mental health, books, and all that is linked in the.
Give your for your hair, your locks. Because I have
Oh,
some lock listeners too.
yes. Hair page is Locked Beba. LOCD BAYBUH, if I'm not mistaken. It's either a
Okay.
dot, a period, or
I'll
an
tag all of this
underscore.
in there.
Yeah, tag them below. But
I
Key
got
Beba
you.
is where you can get all of them. You can follow my mental health page, Sincerely Your Mental Health. That is my business. That is my where I see my clients through. And then Beba's Bookshelf and Locked Beba.
And your YouTube is
So
coming.
YouTube is coming. It's coming, but it's Kiana Monique. So it's my first and middle name is KEIANNA, Monique MONIQUE. So hopefully we'll see by the time this is posted if the YouTube is up and running. But it's coming. It's coming. It's on the
I'm
way.
happy you're getting on YouTube because it's about time.
I
This
know.
girl got a lot of content.
Everybody
She
keeps
does
saying
she
that.
does it all. Therapist. She travels.
Do
She's into locks, into books.
books,
She does it
crafting,
all. I'm here for it.
adventure.
Yes,
I really
crafting as
just be
well.
doing anything. I really be doing anything. That's what it is. I be doing anything. And I'm like, let's go along for this adventure. Okay.
And she's a former New Yorker, guys, and she's
I
my
know.
soror too as
Period.
that. So
Period. I'ma always be from New York.
okay.
Florida. I don't care how long I'm in Florida. I'ma always be from the Bronx. Okay.
Okay, they be trying to revoke your card as soon as you move, and it's like,
Stop.
I am
Stop.
from New York,
Born and
and I'm a
raised.
transplant here.
That's
Okay,
it. Born and
let's
raised.
not
I
get
don't
carried
care.
away.
Somebody tried to tell me because somebody asked me how long I've been in Florida, and I said only 5 years. And they were like, after 5 years, it's you don't say only. I don't care if it's
Please.
20 years. I'm gonna say only until I break even. I lived in New York for 30 years. Until I if I stay, who knows where I'll end up. I don't plan on moving, but unless I go somewhere else, it's always gonna be only. It could be only 20. I'm gonna always be from New York. Like what?
And that's on period.
Period.
For me, this year, it'll be 21, 22, 23, 24. This will be 4 years. In August will make 4 years
Really?
since I've been here in Delaware.
Time is
And
flying.
yeah,
Time is flying. It's gonna be
I,
6 years this
that,
year. 6 years
that just,
that I've been here. Crazy.
that just scared me.
Yeah.
I don't like that because I'm forever a New York girl.
Period.
But yeah, time is definitely flying. And to my listeners, if this episode resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. Make sure you guys follow Kiana and let me know what books have helped you on your mental health journey.
Yeah.
I love to hear from you. Until next time, take care of yourselves and remember the healing takes time, but you don't have to do it alone. Again, thank you,
Very much.
Kiana, for
Of
your
course.
gems. And I thank you for your book recommendations, like I
Of course.
mentioned. We
Yes.
have to do this again. This was
We
great.
should. We absolutely should. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you thinking of me, and I'm glad we were finally
Nope.
able to do this.
Yes, finally,
Finally.
finally. But this is perfect timing
Yeah.
because last year we both were towards the end of the year. We was down for the count.
Down for the count, child. They down for the count. But we up. We back.
Okay. But thank you guys so much and have a good week. Bye. Come on, y'all. We know these combos ain't for the faint. Thank you for listening to the Vulnerable Room podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, head on over to Anchor or Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow at the Vulnerable Room on Instagram or visit thevulnerableroom.com for the latest tea. See you next time. Love you all and have a great week.